All right, let's talk about something that's happening right now, all around us, and even inside our own bodies. Antibiotic resistance. It's a pretty wild and honestly kind of terrifying example of evolution in real time. And the craziest part? We're the ones in the driver's seat.
I mean, really let that sink in for a second. For our great-grandparents, that was a real possibility. And if we don't get a handle on this, it could very well be our future too. The very medicines that have become the bedrock of modern healthcare are starting to fail.
So how in the world did we get here? Well, to really understand the crisis, you first have to appreciate just what a miracle these drugs were in the first place.
You really can't overstate their impact. Think about it. Complex surgeries, organ transplants, chemotherapy, even just getting over a bad case of strep throat. All of it, and I mean all of it, depends on us being able to fight off bacterial infections. Antibiotics are the unspoken safety net holding up pretty much all of modern medicine.
But that safety net is starting to tear. And the reason why is actually pretty simple. It's evolution. See, antibiotic resistance isn't about the drugs getting weaker. Nope. It's about the bacteria getting smarter, adapting, and evolving to survive the very weapons we designed to wipe them out.
So the big question is, how are these tiny, simple organisms outsmarting some of our most advanced medicines? Well, the answer is that they are absolute masters of evolution. They're basically playing the game on fast forward.
Okay, let's get into this, because this is the absolute core of the whole issue. Selection pressure might sound complicated, but it's really just a way of saying that the environment picks winners and losers. And when we use an antibiotic, we are creating a very, very powerful environment with one simple rule: adapt or die.
So, let's walk through how this actually plays out. Picture a giant crowd of bacteria causing an infection. Most of them are totally vulnerable to our drugs. But just by pure random chance, a couple of them have a tiny genetic mutation that makes them tough, resistant. So, you take an antibiotic, it's like a storm that washes away all the weak ones. And who's left standing? Just the tough guys. Now they have all this space and all these resources to themselves, and they start multiplying like crazy, creating a brand new army of resistant bacteria. And here's the key thing to remember. This isn't some abstract theory about dinosaurs. This is a live demonstration of natural selection, and it's happening inside hospitals, on farms, and in communities all over the world every single day.
Right, so if that whole survival of the fittest thing wasn't already fast enough, bacteria have this evolutionary cheat code. It's a superpower that most other living things just don't have.
This is just mind-blowing. See, for most life, like us, genes get passed down vertically, from parent to child. Bacteria can do that, sure, but they can also trade useful genes horizontally. It's like passing a cheat sheet in class. One bacterium can literally hand over its resistance gene to a neighbor, even a neighbor from a completely different species. It's created this information superhighway for survival skills, and it's why resistance can spread at such a terrifying speed.
Okay, so now that we get the biology, we have to face a tough question. What's causing all this? And the answer? Well, it's us. We are the ones creating the intense evolutionary pressure that's driving this entire crisis.
You can kind of break down our influence into two main buckets. First, there are the things we do on purpose, often for very good, necessary reasons. And then there are the accidental things we do that just make the whole problem way, way worse.
Let's start with the intentional stuff. Every single time a doctor prescribes an antibiotic to treat a serious infection, they're also applying that selection pressure. It's a necessary trade-off to save a life. It's a similar story in agriculture, where low doses of antibiotics have been used for decades to keep livestock healthy. But what that does is create the perfect evolutionary training camp for superbugs.
And then you've got all the stuff we do by accident, the things that just pour gasoline on the fire. You know, taking an antibiotic for a cold or the flu, it does absolutely nothing to the virus, but it gives every bacterium in your body a great workout. Or stopping your prescription early just because you feel better, that can leave the toughest bacteria behind to regroup and multiply. On top of that, you've got environmental contamination from farms and hospitals, and a global travel network that can move a new resistant superbug from one continent to another in less than a day.
So why should all this biology and evolution matter to you? Because the consequences of getting this wrong are, well, they're almost unthinkable. We are talking about the very real possibility of rolling back a century of medical progress.
In a world where antibiotics don't work, a routine surgery becomes a life-or-death gamble. A simple UTI could land you in the ICU. Hospital stays get longer, medical bills skyrocket, and common infections we stopped worrying about decades ago suddenly become deadly again. And this isn't some far-off future. It's already starting to happen in hospitals right now.
And look, don't just take my word for it. This quote is straight from the World Health Organization. They call it one of the biggest public health threats we face. They see this as a slow-moving pandemic, one that threatens to undo everything we've built.
Now, after hearing all of that, it would be so easy to feel completely hopeless. But the story is not over. We may have started this fire, but we also have the power to contain it.
Here's the good news. We can put the evolutionary genie back in the bottle. Resistance is a natural process, and it's here to stay. But what we absolutely can do is ease up on the gas pedal and reduce the intense pressure we've been applying.
The solution isn't just one thing. It's a collection of actions at every level. For us, as individuals, it's about using antibiotics only when they're truly necessary and always finishing the full course. Simple things like good hygiene go a long way in preventing infections in the first place. And on a bigger scale, it means rethinking how we use antibiotics in farming, investing in new kinds of treatments, and building a global system to track these superbugs wherever they pop up. Every single one of these actions helps.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this. We are a force of evolution. The choices we make every day, in the doctor's office, on the farm, in our own homes, are directly shaping the future of the microscopic world all around us.
And that really is the question we're left with, isn't it? For decades, our unintentional actions have been speeding up this crisis. The great challenge of our time is whether we can now use our knowledge and our intentional actions to slow it down and protect these miracle drugs for generations to come. The outcome is truly up to us.